Lesson 110, Equations and Functions. The solution of an equation with two variables consists of two numbers, one for each variable, that makes the equation true. When a relationship assigns exactly one output value for each input value, it is called a function. Function tables help to organize input numbers, output numbers, and function rules. So if we look at example 1, we made a function table for this rule, y equals 5x. Y equals 5x. And then state the domain and the range. Okay, so there's a lot of stuff going on here. First of all, the input we're going to call x. So off to the side, if you would write this down, we're going to say input is the x. All right, input is the x. Output is the y. The input is the x. The output is the y. The input is the domain. So the domain, like dominant, they're the ones in charge. That is the input, meaning the domain are all your x's. The range is all the y's. Input is all the x's, and they are the domain. Output, all the y's, and that is the range. This is the rule in the middle. So on the left, that is your input, also called domain. The middle is the rule, whatever the equation is. The y column is the output, also known as the range. So the rule for this is y equals 5x. That means 5 times x. So they used these numbers, 0, 1, 2, and 3. And for each row, they plug that x value in the problem in the rule for x. That's why they have 5 times 0. The output's 0. Then they have 5 times 1. The output's 5. Then 5 times 2. The output is 10. And 5 times 3, the output is 15. To make and list the domain, you have to use set notation. That's what this is. It's a brace. If you can't make it when you have to draw one, do the best you can. Don't let that be a big issue. In this problem, the domain being all the x's, 0, 1, 2, 3. And then you would finish it off. You put them in order from least to greatest. It's the best way to write your domain. In this problem, the range, here it is, 0, 5, 10, 15. It would be the output for the matching input. I know there was a lot of information there. Are there any questions about any of those things that I said? You're going to have an input. You're going to have a function, a rule. You're going to solve for the output. The domain are all of the x's, and the range is all of the y's. Question? Do you have a question about something you don't understand?
No.
No? Well, let's do an example, and then we'll see how we go on that, okay? Yes? Hang on. All right, number 1. It says complete the following function tables, then state the domain and range. So notice on these, they give us, like number 1, the rule is y equals x plus 4. They put that right here, x plus 4. they chose for the input 0, 1, 2, 3. If they don't choose the input for you, you choose 0, 1, 2, 3. It makes it easier. So, what am I going to put in the first row, Trent?
0 times 4.
0, and I'm going to use a dot for times. I'm not going to use X. 0 times 4, so what's the output, Trent?
0.
0. What's next?
1 times 4.
1 times 4. What? 4. Then,
2 times 4.
and the output?
8.
8. And then next,
3 times 1.
and the output?
12.
12. Now, does everybody see what we did? We took X in every row and plugged it into that problem. Now, we've already been evaluating expressions and solving. We've already done this. We just did it in a different format. This is filling out a complete table with it. A complete table with it. Now, Trent, we got to do one more thing. I'm going to say domain or D. Can you tell me what we would put for the domain?
X equals
No. Which numbers were the domain?
0.
0. Keep going.
1, 2, and 3.
1, 2, and 3. That's the domain. And then, Trent, we had the range. So which ones are those?
0, 4, 8, and 12.
Yes. The domain are the set of the x's, and the range are the set of the y's. All right, we're going to do, we're going to do number, we're going to do number 3. It says the function or the rule y equals x minus 1. And that's why they put it right here, x minus 1. Kyler, here is the input, 2, 3, 4, 5. So what are we going to do?
0.2.
It says x minus 1. And the first one, what's the first input? What's that input? 2. So put that in place of x. In the middle column, put that in place of x. 2 minus 1. And what is 2 minus 1? 1. Okay. Kyler, what's the next row? So what am I going to put in my row? 3 minus 1, making it 2. And then what's next? 4 minus 1. 3. And the last row? 5 minus 1, making it 4. Now, Kyler, we got to name the domain first. So what would we consider our domain? 2, 3, 4, 5. That's what they had in the input column. Okay, the range, Kyler, what do you think that is?
1, 2, 3, 4.
Very good. 1, 2, 3, 4. So the domain is the set of all the x's. The range is the set of all the y's. Domain is input. Range is output. You do whatever the function rule is. You plug your input in there one at a time to find its matching output. Do you have any questions about how we did those?